we are given algebraic expressions with variables in there, but we are also given the values of these variables. So the first step we do is to plug in the numbers for the variables. So here, since x is equals -2, we're going to replace both x's with -2. So when we plug in -2, make sure you put parentheses around -2. So we have -3 times -2 parentheses cubed plus 4 times -2. So everything else we have to copy them down. -3, the cube, and then the cube, and the plus 4 and the plus 4. And notice between -3 and the x, that's multiplication. Multiplication sign can be omitted. If you want to put a dot there to remind yourself it's doing multiplication, you can. So now let's follow the order of operations. Pen and des, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So when we have exponents, we have to work out the first. So I'm going to do -2 to the third, which is multiplying 3 copies of -2. And notice that -2 times -2 times -2 gives us right here. So you will see -2 times -2, that is +4. And the +4 times -2 gives us -8. So for that part, we get -8. And then I went ahead and multiplied +4 and a -2. That gives me -8. And now let's multiply -3 and -8. That's positive. 2 negatives make a positive. So we got a +24. And 24 plus -8, or just 24 minus 8, that's 16. Now, in the next question, we're going to still first plug in the numbers. W, replace it with 4. X is -2. Again, if it's a negative number because it has a sign and also a digit, we're going to put then both of them in the tail parentheses. And same here. So I use parentheses. For 4, if you don't want to use parentheses, then you have to put a dot there because between 5 and a W, it's multiplication. If I put parentheses, then I don't need to put a dot. And X, I use the parentheses, minus Y. Y is 0. And Z is -3. I use parentheses. So now let's follow the order of operations. And we can look at the top first. So the top has all multiplications. So we're going to just do 5 times +4, that's 20. 20 times -2, that's -40. Be careful, it's all multiplication. We're multiplying these 3 numbers. And the bottom, and so top I got -40. The bottom, because there is a multiplication here, 0 times -3. So we have to do multiplication before we do subtraction. And any number times 0 is 0. So I just got 0 here. And -2 minus, and that's 0, I just bring it down. So -2 minus 0 is still -2. And finally, I divide -40 and -2. 2 negatives make a positive. And 40 divided by 2, that's 20. So if you still have trouble with sign numbers and what the order of operations, make sure you do more practice.